Good evening or good afternoon. It is half an hour before the market closes, and I'm just going to recap my trading for today. Today was a decent green day, probably one of the best days I've had for a long time, and I did it all without looking at my P&L. I kind of restructured my screens a little bit, so I've only got the information I want to see in front of me. Got rid of the P&L because having P&L in front of me was more destructive to my trading than it was productive. So what I've done is I've swapped my screens around a bit. I've now configured the 5-minute, 60-minute, 2-minute and a daily chart on my main screen. And if I go over to my left screen, I've got order flow shown on this screen now. And before I had order flow in the tab on one chart on my main screen, but over several tabs. Now I've got them all out on display so I can see it. And I'll be honest, it made it much clearer today, much clearer. So I'm just going to go through my trading, why I got into it and how I got out of it. So my first entry today was in the pre-market, and I was looking for a short, and that's purely, you can't really see it here, but I was watching an increase in price, and it was at the all-time highs as well at that point as well, and we had a decrease in volume. We also had a divergence on the price and the cumulative delta, which is part of the order flow. And if I go back to my left screen, so this chart I have in the bottom right corner shows me the price action on the top and the cumulative delta at the bottom. And if I go back to, hopefully I'll get all the way back to the pre-market, here we are. So in the pre-market, it looks a bit different because obviously we had that big push. That's what it looked like. So you can see quite clearly the price was just slowly rising and going sideways, whereas the cumulative delta was declining and going downwards. So the delta was going down and the price was kind of rising or going sideways. So it's definitely a bit of a divergence. I'll be honest, it wasn't really the greatest trade because I really wanted to see the price actually put in higher highs. It was putting in higher highs, and then equal high here, and then a higher high. And so I took a short. So I got short there, and you know my stop was just, it was about 10 ticks away. It was just above that area, 40, 50, 27, 50 or 50, 28, I think, something like that. And you can see the idea worked. We're still seeing negative cumulative delta on the order flow, on the volume. So basically that means there were more sellers than buyers, and you can see the price was going sideways because they were, you know, look, if you're just watching the price action alone and the volume, then the price is going sideways, and it looks like it's just accumulating or consolidating. But if you're watching, you can see that the interest from the buyers was fading away quite rapidly. So that's why I took the short. It was more a speculative short, just to confirm my theory on order flow, and with a very tight 10 tick stop. It was one contract as well, so very minimal. It would have been a very small loss. And I spent most of the time in the positive on that trade. Wasn't much, like I said, it only moved about 10 ticks down, so barely on an MES contract. That's not much at all. And I'm just going to scroll over a little bit, and it was doing okay. And then on my I didn't realise there's any news. I looked at the calendar and there was no news at all for 8:30. That's the reason I got into it there. And you can see what happened. The news came in, it pushed right down. I probably should have taken profit. It was a scalp, and I didn't take profits. I was a bit slow, and then it pushed up. But my stop was quite tight at 50.28, so I got out, and that was probably about I think it was about a $14 loss per account. So wasn't much at all. It's a very tight stop, but that's a tight stop, and that's the reason I had my stop tight. Anyway, I went back later, looked at the calendar, and the news was on there, so I don't know why it wasn't shown. I looked at Market Watch and Trading View, so that was my stop there, and potentially I really wanted to get down to that. That's kind of what I was waiting for, the target. That's why I didn't take it. But but that's fine. That confirmed order flow, and you can see it's sold off. The cumulative delta was negative until we hit the news. So I got out of that trade, and then I took another trade. This time nothing related to cumulative delta. This is based on limit orders. So I'll just set that one, and limit orders, I use this footprint chart for limit orders, and what I was watching for, this is a 5-minute footprint chart, and what I was waiting for was abnormal buyers. So this chart shows you two things. This candlestick, it shows you the colour of the candlestick, which is green, the bid, which is on the left, and the ask. And usually if you see, so on this side here, you can see the numbers are lit up blue. That means there's an imbalance, more buyers, aggressive buyers and sellers. You can see the aggressive sellers came in, then we had this area of heavy buying and heavy selling, but there was more buyers on this candle. The delta between the buyers and sellers on that entire candle was 4,600, I think that's in positive. And as it came up, I started noticing the numbers were getting smaller and smaller, so the interest was fading. And then I saw this order here, 778, and you can see it either two ways. Here I would say they're aggressive buyers, aggressive buying, and we know that now in hindsight because we've seen the candle and because that was the start of the move. But up here, if you're a big hedge fund or a big market maker or market mover, you're not going to be buying at the top of a move. You want to be buying when it comes all the way back down to here again. So on this chart, you guys see it as one of two things. It's either a aggressive market order, which we see here, or it's a passive limit order. So I saw that big limit order there, and I saw another big order there as well, which was higher than what we've seen. There's a few higher ones, and but then I saw the top and tail came in. As it came up, came back down again. One other thing to note as well, the 0 orders in the bid shows that this candle's pretty much done. It came back down, so I was happy to go short. I went short just there, just below that 787 order, and that was a great short. Let me go back to my middle screen so I can show you the executions. Okay, so that's my short there at 50, 40, 75, and that again confirmed order flow, and that's my confirmation on the order flow, the limit order, and I took a profit at 50.34, and again I saw these bottom tails and I didn't really like it, and we had decline in volume as well, so I decided to get out. That looked like it was pulling back ready for the push back up, so I got out. I did the right thing, got out there, and obviously had I held or just run it down the moving average or something, I probably would have got a better price, but that was fine. It was a scalp as well, so out there. So even though there's a very small loss here, I had a decent win here. It was a decent move that was. So that was my first out, and that's my second out there. So just to confirm, that was a 3R move. That was a 3R out there, and I had a 5R position target sitting there. So basically 3.5 R I got from that move, and that was about a fraction of an R, a quarter of an R loss. So I was up, doing okay, and then again I was watching it sell off. I had a level from the pre-market video, 50.20, and that level, if you look at the hourly at the bottom here, was this area here. We had the highs of that day, which day that was, highs of Thursday, highs of yesterday as well, sorry, Wednesday, highs of yesterday as well, and that was my level which I was watching, and so I was waiting for it to come back down into that area, and it did exactly that. So I still got in. Again, I didn't get in without confirmation. In fact, the first time I got in was there at the exact level. I had a limit order sitting there. It triggered me. My stop was put at 10 ticks, and it stopped me out. A bit annoying, it stopped me out almost instantly. So it came down, and it came back up. But this time I saw big volume, and I was watching the order flow and the volume profile, and so I got back in again there. And this game with two contracts, and that was the last time I was in the red on that one trade. So basically it's the same trade. First one was a quick stop out, and because I left my stop was a bit tight, it should have been down here, that's where I needed it, but I got straight back in and I got in at a better price as well. So I took my first out there, and that was basically the current pre-market high before we had this big sell-off. Also we had lots of sellers sitting above, and then I had one contract left, so I was watching it. We held the VWAP, bottom tail, bottom tail, bottom tail, increase in volume as well, it wasn't declining, so I then looked for an ad. I got an ad just there, so back to 2 contracts or the ES, and then I rode it all the way up. My first out was the high of the day, that pivot there, and then I held, and my stop was down here. I moved it to this pivot and I held it for the rest of the day, and I finally got out up here right at the top. So I was out a little earlier, I was watching this for a potential double top. I held it through that double top, and I'm going to go back to order flow again because I can show you what I was looking at when I got out. So back into my order flow screen. So this was the, make sure I've got the right area. No, we're coming in. So this is what I was watching it push up. I was still in the trade at this point, and what I saw was potential double top. You know, this is a double top from that data candle at 8:30 today. So it's a little bit above, but what I was watching was these high volume nodes. There's a few high volume nodes there, and if you look at all the previous nodes, we never had anything over 1,000. We had a couple down here, probably where we had a few people trying to catch the pullback, and nothing was over 1,000, so that's unusually high for the last few candles. So as soon as I saw that, I realised we're getting near to the end. There's potential limit orders and people looking to go short, and I held it just for one candlestick and got out on the next one. So I was out on this candle here, and what was that? That was around 50.43, I think it was. No, in fact, that's a lie. I got out on this candle there. I got out exactly there because the volume was similar. I saw high volume up here as well. So as soon as it came up and came back down again, that was my out. So that was my perfect out, 50.43. And the one thing to note was I didn't see any ending volume. Back to the screen again. So there's no real ending volume. But on the 2-minute chart over here, and I saw this big spike just soon after. So my out was there. It's about there, my out. And then we saw the spike up. So I knew that was the ending volume, and I'm annoyed that I didn't wait. I should have waited for that spike, but I could see it coming, and I knew it was coming because I was watching the order. I was watching the order flow. I could see the big orders coming in, and then that final push up, and as you can see, it's only tanked since there was a decent out. And that was it. That was my day trading. So I took 1, 2, 3, 4 trades. The last 2 trades were basically the same trades. I'll call that 3 trades, and I added on the first trade as well. What could I have done better? I'm pleased my out was where it was. It was the top of that 8:30 candle today, and I was expecting a few algos to be sitting out there ready to go short. It's quite an area where you know a lot of people would short those data candles as well, so I had that on my mind. Probably could have added better. My first ad was on this area here. I took it purely because we held the VWAP and it looked good on the 2-minute, and we had increasing volume. That's the main reason I took it. So if it's lowering volume, I may not have considered it. Probably should have looked for an ad along here on the VWAP, the pullback, because we know it held the VWAP the first time, held it the second time, and potentially probably should have trailed the 8 moving average further up. I should have been out probably there. That's where I could have been out, but if you look at it, it was not far off. We're talking pennies differences. If I have to be critical, that's the only place. So not really much to be critical about today. Decent day, and the good thing about it is my P&L, which go back to my left screen again. My P&L, which I normally have on my left screen here, I've now removed it and I've got order flow only, and I'm only showing order flow. And again, that's more creative for my trading. It's more useful and it's more beneficial to me. I used to have my P&L was sitting in this corner here, and I spend more time watching that corner than I was watching the actual chart and the price action. So I'm pretty pleased that I've done that. I think it made a big difference today, a massive difference. And I didn't even look at my P&L until right at the very end, and that's it. Decent day. I'll just quickly go through what charts I've got up on here. These are all order flow charts. So this is my basic footprint chart on the 5 minute, and here shows me the bid and ask volumes of every candlestick. A bit like the 5 minute chart you saw on my main screen, but this just shows what goes on inside the candles. And this table at the bottom shows me the volume, and it shows me the delta. So what I'm looking for is a potential, like this one's a decent one to look at. So here is a big red flag. So you've got a green candle, so that's a green candle with a wick at the top and bottom, and we've got a negative delta, but a green bar. So if you're looking at the candlestick alone, you say, oh, that's positive. You know, I'm going to go long here, and you think that's a decent long, you know, like a pullback. But I'm looking at this negative delta here and thinking that's not quite right, so something's not quite right in that area. You know, you expect it to be green, that the buyers are in control of that bar, but the actual sellers are in control of that candlestick, that 5 minute candlestick. And the next one had a bit of buying, so they were back in control again. And then look at this, we've got 2 red candles, but we're seeing a positive delta that's pretty much close to 0, so we can probably ignore that. And then we sold off, and that's what we've been doing, selling off. So this is like the anomaly here, that candlestick. And it makes it much clearer using order flow, because you can see what's going on inside the candles. And obviously you can see what's going on at the top of the candles where there's big buyers and sellers. Originally I was using just these yellow lines. That's the yellow line on the graph on the side of the candle shows me where in the candle was the highest amount of volume. And when I zoom out, I'll show you on this chart here, I use that to show me where the support and resistance could be. Also you can see it here, support and resistance, you know, that's the point of control, kind of got this area as an average. But I kind of look at that sometimes, like this one, 2 together shows me that there's a lot of potential buyers or limit orders sitting up there, or sellers I meant, so that's potentially a area of resistance, and that's what I'm looking for. Areas like this, and down here you can see these ones are quite close together, could show support, and that means we might see it as a bounce. But I'll only consider this if we're coming to areas of hourly support and resistance, not generally watching these candles. There's no support and resistance here, but it's just an example. And so that's that one. This chart here is a 30 minute footprint chart, but what I've done is, instead of showing me bid and ask, it's just showing me the volume delta, the difference in volume at each price level. And then I've got the colour coding, so where it's darker in colour, darker green or darker red, that's where the highest volume is. Where it's lighter green, that's where the lightest volume is. And you can see these little green bubbles, you can see them all down here as well. That shows me what, that's the what's the word I'm looking for, the number of orders coming in. So it doesn't really show me much more than what the volumes show me, but it highlights that. Down here we had a lot of buy orders. I can hover the mouse over. Tells you, I mean, we had 86 sell, 782 buys. That's quite a lot of buyers in that area. The volume and the price, and you can see I've got all the smaller bubbles here. The bigger the bubble, the bigger the area. So that's a 30 minute candle, so I know that area could act as potential support if it comes back down to area, say 50.35. So if we watch that area, if you're still watching this later, look at 50.35, see whether we see it coming in and bounce. But we're coming into the end of market now. So this chart down here is a 30 minute volumetric again, and this one I filtered out all of the big orders. So what you're seeing now, what I'm seeing now, is only orders that have over 25. So it gives me an idea where support and resistance are, where the big players are playing. So unlike this one here shows me all the orders, this one just filters out and shows me where the big orders are. And so it gives you an idea. So I can see lots of big orders up here, so that's obviously the smart money looking to put their orders on there for a short down. and I'm only interested in following what the big money, the smart money does, because you know that's how they make their money. So I just want to be following whatever. If they go short, then I want to go short with them, because they're the ones that move the market. And obviously this one we spoke about this one. This is the this is a normal candlestick chart, and this is the cumulative delta order flow. And they normally match up. So when that goes down, cumulative delta goes down. When it goes up, that goes up, and price comes back down. Price comes down, cumulative delta comes down. But we're looking for anomalies, like the one I saw this morning, where the price is going up but the delta is going down. Therefore, it's losing interest in buyers. So I use all these as confirmation. Limit order I prefer the most, because that's the one where I like to see where it's coming into areas of support and resistance on the hourly, and I want to see big orders up here. So you may think that's aggressive buying, but it's most likely limit orders triggering, because you know, if you're smart money, you're not going to be buying big orders at the top of a run. You'll be waiting for it to pull right back. So that will be aggressive buying on this side mainly, and then with probably limit orders near the top, and this will be aggressive selling down here, or limit orders to go long. So that's limit orders to go short. So that's how I see it. So quite a good way to look at your trading, and I think it really helps with the level, you know, knowing a little bit about level 2. So go back onto my main screen again, and you can see I've got my level 2 up as well. So here I'm looking for levels. I'm just scanning down. You can see there's 600 orders sitting at 50.45. So potentially at this point here we've got a lot of sellers sitting there waiting to. These are all limit orders waiting to trigger. So we know they want to go short in that area. We've got more orders coming down. You can see I only look at like 593, 50, 52. So a bit further over above today's high. So more limit orders sitting there waiting to short as well. So all of this makes it much easier to confirm your reversals or your bounces, because I'm a reversal trader, and like the trade this morning where I got in up here, I need to look for little tiny clues to see where the market's moving, and it's been too many times I got in without looking at confirmation, or I'm just like anticipating, and it's causing me to stop out. But today I chose not to anticipate or get in early. I just watched order flow, and when I saw the limit orders coming in, or when I saw the cumulative delta look different to what it should be, then I knew there's something not quite right, and that's my clue to get in. Obviously I use volume as well, and support and resistance, and supply and demand. So that's my take on today. Hopefully you've got this far through to the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a comment if there's anything else you want me to add or describe, go into order flow a bit more, or don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget every Monday, or every day starting from Monday next week, when I'm back again Monday, I'll be doing a live pre-market video where I go through all the levels. Like today I went through levels. I'll show you on my live trading chart, and I'll put my levels in on my calendar as well, which I'll open up as well. I'll show you. So today's the 9th. So these are my levels I put in today. We talked about in the videos, in the live video. I literally said I had 2 levels. I looked for a short up here, higher risk short up here, which kind of would have worked. Not one I would take in this time of day though. Or I'm looking for a bounce off of these 2 tops. So the high of Thursday, high of Wednesday, and a high of yesterday. And look at that, came in, tested it, tested the 20 moving average, and it only went up. So perfect trading levels, and not a bad day trading. So I'll just show you my notes from earlier as well. So this is called TradeViz, and every day I put in my daily info. So what I'm watching, 50-20 bounce at yesterday's highs. We just went over that. That's the bounce I took today. I was just spot on. And I put 54 high reject, high risk. Today's pre-market high, tight stop. So if I was going to take that trade, it would have been a tight stop, and I probably wouldn't have taken it because it's after 12 o'clock. But yeah, and probably wouldn't have worked anyway. So the market's too strong for that. and then I just put in what I'm watching for. Pullback, continuation of the trend, yesterday's highs. So, and I always do a screenshot of level 2, and I do a screenshot of the 60-minute chart as well. So I can look back at this, and I can look at my values. I can look at where the market was level 2 wise as well. Here you go. You can see quite clearly that imbalance I was talking about earlier. So the price was rising there, but the cumulative delta was going down there. So that's kind of why I went short. Again, don't know why. I didn't know there's any news. I looked at news and all I could see was Fed speaking at 1:30 today. But it looks like there must have been an aerial market watch website, because it wasn't there when I checked it. But when I went back about an hour later, it was there. So obviously they missed it. And that's it really. That's my plan for today. And all of this I go through in my pre-market video. So if you subscribe to the video, and don't forget to hit the notification so you know when I go live. It's usually around 9 AM Eastern time, sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes a little bit later, but here in the UK that's 2 PM. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will be back Monday. Have a good weekend.